So we talked about assignments, expressions, and data types. We now know that we have numeric data types, which are integer and float, and also we have sequence data types. We talked about strings, which are the first sequence data types. A string is a sequence of characters. So these are two strings defined and assigned to variables. We can apply some operations on these strings. For example, we can combine two strings together using what we call a concatenation. If we write s plus t, Python infers that we mean concatenation, not addition, because the two operands of this operation are not numbers, so we cannot have an addition done here. For this, Python applies a concatenation, putting all the characters of the left string together with the characters of the right string, producing a new string. We could also apply a repetition. For example, we can repeat any string. In this case, we gave a string and a number to the repetition operator, producing a new string, repeating the string on the left. There are some methods that could be applied to strings. These methods take the string itself and produce a new string accordingly. Let's say we have s plus t as a new string, which is a, and now we want to apply the title method on this string. This method takes the first letter of every word in the string and puts it as a capital letter. A better example would be, here we can see that the first letter is converted to capital letter. We could also use capitalize. So applying the method, as you can see, is by putting a dot and then using the method name plus parentheses. So this is called a method. Takes a string and applies some transformations on the string and produces a new one. The original string, of course, is not changed because a string is an immutable data type, which means that a string once defined cannot be modified. So in this case, only the first letter of the first word is converted into a capital letter. We could also have a lower letter version. In this case, it's just the exact same string. We could have some combination here. So the lower letter is given, or we could have the upper letter version. We could also use what we call a search function on the strings. Say we want to look for a specific word or a specific letter in a string, we could apply the find method. The find method needs a new argument here. So it's not enough just to say that find something in A, we have to specify what we are looking for. Let's say we are looking for the letter L, and then find gives us the index of that letter. If we look up A again, we can see that the index 2 refers to this L here. What if we have more than one L? Find just gives us the first letter that is on the left side. If we go for rfind, it will give us the index of the first one that it finds from the right side. How about if we want to produce a new string with some of the string parts replaced with something else? Let's say we have this string, we have some spaces here in this string. The spaces occupy space in the memory, so they are not just thin air. They are characters and they occupy space in memory. If we say replace this space with nothing, this method takes this string and replaces every occurrence of this one with this one. So in this case, we'll just get a string without any spaces. You could do all kinds of transformations using replace. You could also give a third argument to replace so that you limit the replace with a specific number. We have this string. As you can see, I have put some dots here. If we wanted to replace the dots with, say, spaces, we could just do that. Or we could say we want to just replace the first dot with a space. In this case, we can specify how many of these replacements we want. Next up, we can move to the next sequence type, which is lists. Lists are a sequence of elements. These elements could have any type. Their types are independent of each other's. They are not like strings, which are just sequences of characters. Characters are not independently typed in strings. How can we define a list? We can define a list simply by an assignment and then using the square brackets. We previously used the square brackets with two operations, which were indexing and slicing. Here, square brackets have a different meaning. They are used to construct a list. For example, we can have a list of numbers. We just open a bracket and close the bracket, and here we have a list. We can just look it up, and we can do all kinds of operations that are allowed on lists. We can have lists that are not homogeneous. This list has 3 elements. Each element is of a different type. This one is an integer, this one is a string, this one is a float. We can deal with each element independently. How can we do that? We can apply the same indexing and slicing methods that we used to have with strings. Say we want the first element, we can use the index 0, and that's the value 1. Or if we want the second element, we can use index 1, and that is the string ABC. We could also use slicing and take the first 2 elements of the list. Slicing in list always yields a list. Indexing would yield a value of the same type as the element itself. What else can we do with the lists? We could check the length of a list. If we go back to the first definition of L, now here L is a list of just numbers. We can ask Python just to compute the maximum value or the minimum value. Or we could have the sum of all values in the list. We could also use list concatenation and repetition as we did with the strings. For example, we can have L plus 60 and 70. Now we're extending the original values of L to include these 2 extra values and store the resulting list in M. As we can see, L is itself not changed because the concatenation is an expression that yields a new value. It doesn't change the list itself. Or we could have a list of all zeros, say of size 10. We could do that with the repetition operator. We can pop an element from a list, just like that. This gives the last element of the list from the right and deletes the element. Now when we see that the list is changing, that indicates that L or the list is not an immutable type. It's a mutable type which can be modified. L itself can include more values or less values. In this case, we are taking one value from L. We could also pop a specific index from the list L. Let's say pop the first element. We can have the method index. Index would just search for a specific value and gives us the index of that value. If the value does not exist, it just gives us a value error, which is a runtime error. We could also extend a list with another list. Say we want to add the elements of this list to the list L, we can have the list extended. In this case, we can see that this operation did not give us any value. Instead, it would just change the list L itself. If we wanted to add a specific value to the end of the list, we could do that with the append method. We can also delete a specific index from the list L, say index 3, or insert a value at a specific location which is given by the index, say location 4. Now we have a list that has 80 in it but does not have the fourth element, which was 50. We could also sort a list. In this case, our list is not sorted. We can say .sort. It doesn't give us anything. It would just change the list itself. We could use a different version of sorting. Say we didn't want to sort the original list. We want a copy of the list sorted. In this case, we could use the function sorted. So I'm going to take the result of sorted and store it in n. In this case, n does not have any differences with L because L is already sorted. But in any application, if we wanted to keep the original list unsorted and have a sorted version, we can use the sorted function for that purpose.